3 days after the 5th AustinEast student was killed this year, classmates and parents still dealing with the trauma brought on by the repeated deaths. WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Jordan Brown spoke with an AustinEast parent and a student tonight. And, well, Jordan, how is this family coping?
Well, Bo, there have been some tough conversations that have had to be had at home. Parents are concerned for their kids' mental well-being, and students are losing their friends. One family was brave enough to share with me everything they've been going through this year.
Everyone said 2020 was a horrible year. I mean, 2021 has started out even worse.
It's been hard for the AustinEast community to find the light this year.
They should be planning their prom. They should be planning graduation, but now they're planning funerals.
The students there have seen some dark days.
Young people dying.
One of those young people, a friend of AustinEast Jr., Matt Schuler.
It was kind of sad to hear that one of my friends died because, you know, he's one of my friends. I was really surprised that something happened near the school that killed someone.
It's hard because it not only puts this community in a bad light, but the students that are at AustinEast, you know, people think, oh, they're thugs, they're this, they're that. They're really not. They're good kids.
Matt's mom, Corey, is a former roadrunner herself, and she made sure all 3 of her kids would be too. And even now, they say they wouldn't have it any other way.
He chooses to go to school. He wants to go to school. He loves it.
It's kind of annoying because they're all like, that school is terrible and that place is terrible for you. And I think the opposite. I love that place.
But recent events at the school they love have sparked difficult conversations at home.
They need help. You know, these kids need help getting through. This is hard for them. This is really hard for them.
5 student deaths in just 4 months has felt like a never-ending tunnel of darkness for this community. But they're hoping the light is just around the corner. Now, I reached out to several AustinEast parents. Some of them told me everything is just too hard to talk about right now, but they're trying to process the best way they know how. Bo?
All right, Jordan, thank you. Meanwhile, tonight, members of the community gathered in East Knoxville to lean on each other, to pray, and to reflect on what happened.
I was working on my sermon on the computer, and I saw the news alert come across my computer screen, and it just took my breath away. I couldn't breathe, and I began to sob.
Tonight's prayer vigil at Lennon Senior United Methodist Church drew dozens of people, community leaders included.
Considering the fact that many of the people in my church, majority of them have ties to AustinEast, this is a hard time for us. We are grieving, we are lamenting, and when we grieve, we pray.
Reverend Leah Burns adds that she believes that something must be done to break the cycle. Well, the investigation into Anthony Thompson Jr.'s death continues tonight, and while we wait for answers, here's a look back at what we know so far. Everything began around 3:15 Monday afternoon. Knoxville police were sent to AustinEast for reports of a person possibly armed in a school bathroom. TBI says officers tried to get Anthony to come out of the bathroom. When he did not, officers went in. Preliminary TBI findings state that Thompson's gun was fired during a struggle. Officers then fired 2 times. Officer Adam Wilson, the school's SRO, was shot in the leg. However, the TBI says the bullet that struck Officer Wilson was not fired from the student's gun. The Knoxville Police Department says all 4 officers who were involved have now been placed on temporary leave per department policy. Also today, Knox County District Attorney Sharm Allen defended her position for choosing not to release body camera video until after the investigation is complete. Allen says the video, quote, has to complete its function as criminal evidence before it can even be considered for release. Earlier today, she noted that evidence is still being gathered and not all of the officers involved in the shooting have given their statements yet.
To release any part of the evidence in this case before we have collected all the evidence may taint things that are still being done. To release the video, for it to be out there to be viewed by potential witnesses before they give statements, could potentially taint the criminal integrity of this case. So I cannot release that body camera video at this point.
Allen is standing by her decision, even though there have been calls for her to release the body camera footage by Knoxville Mayor India Kincannon, neighbors, and community leaders.
At the end of the day, justice would be Brother Anthony Thompson Jr. is still alive. So the least that can happen is accountability through transparency and being forthcoming.
What happened Monday was KPD's first officer-involved shooting since the police department completed its rollout of body-worn cameras.